So our boy Tom Lee has never been more bullish on the stock market than he's ever been right now. And trust me, I'm listening to this guy for over 5 years now. He made some really good calls, he made some really bad calls, but the call that he just made on his most recent interview, he is extremely bullish and he is very, very confident that this certain sector of the market is going to absolutely go to the moon. Let's take a listen.
Pretty much nailed it a couple of weeks ago, and that was the low. You said 5,500 near term on the S&P. We got to that easily. Can you summarize what you've seen the past couple of weeks and what you think happened? I guess the peak tariff angst was hit when you said it was hit, and couldn't it come back still, though?
Joe, I do think tariff fears can come back, but the stock market and I think the macro is in a better place today than it was on April 7th. One is I think that the tariff expectations, even if we don't know what they end up looking like, are really much better than what we saw on April 2nd. The second is that the markets that lead stocks, such as credit and the VIX and high yield, are in a much better place. High yield has recovered almost all the widening that happened since April 7th, and the VIX is uninverting the term structure, which basically means the market for volatility is calming down.
So we got to hit on the VIX a little bit more because it's ultra critical to elaborate a little bit more on what Tom was talking about. So I sent out this tweet on April 8th, and I said the VIX, which is a volatility index, closed above 52, which is right here, it closed at 52.33, which is in the top 1% of all-time high closures for the VIX. Remember, that was on April 8th of 2025. And I said, check out the chart, which shows you the next 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-year returns of the market when the VIX closes at a high level such as this right here. And you could just see the overall trend. There's a whole lot of green on this chart right here. And I get it that this is just one metric and it's just the VIX, it's just the volatility index. But look at how perfect the correlation is. I mean, look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-year returns, and pretty much every single 5-year return is over a 100% return. Only a couple right here and one right here and one here. I mean, there's a few, but the point I'm getting at is this. The market usually moons when the VIX is super high, because when the VIX goes way up, that typically means that the stock market is going way down. So I show this chart all the time on this channel, and when the VIX closed at that ultra high level of 52.33 on April 8th, guess what the fear greed index was at? It was all the way down here at a level of 4. Literally 4, and now we're in a greed category because the market rebounded so much. But that is just validating this chart even more, that when the VIX goes ultra high, the returns going forward are typically very good.
And then I think when we look at 2026, I think there is stuff to have some confidence about, because the economy is holding up better at the moment, and next year we can look forward to deregulation. I think the comparisons for earnings will be much better for next year. And then, of course, if we get some tariff policies that lead to exports, we have upside to earnings growth. So all in all, I think it makes sense that the markets have recovered.
I know I show this chart a lot on this channel, and trust me, I don't want to keep showing you the same information over and over and over again if I didn't think it was absolutely critical to understand, because the chart just updated right before I made this video, so we do have to talk about it. And this goes right into what Tom was talking about. So the darker line corresponds to the earnings of the S&P 500, and the lighter line corresponds to the S&P 500 index itself. So you can see the S&P 500 index came down pretty sharp. Now it rebounded quite a bit right here. But typically what happens is the stock market, meaning the S&P 500, and the earnings per share, they follow each other on a percentage gain basis. So what I mean by that is both lines should start in the same spot and they should end in the same spot also. So you can see the S&P is all the way up in this category right here, and the earnings are down here. So it does indicate the market is still a little bit extended from what the earnings are. But what Tom is talking about is if we get trade deals with other countries, the earnings per share could get revised. Instead of going flat right here, the earnings per share could actually jump up quite a bit. And when earnings per share jumps up quite a bit, it's going to justify the S&P 500 at this share price up here.
But, the bar for recovering to all-time highs is, of course, higher. But I do think the risk-reward is actually still positive here.
Some of the comments made by President Trump over the weekend that why would, if these are temporary, why would anyone build a plant here? So that some of them might be permanent. I still think it's negotiating. I'm still not sure I take that at face value. But if it's a permanent regime of tariffs, you still think we get to new highs in 2025 or by 2026?
Yes, I think new highs are possible this year. I mean, one reason is, companies have proven themselves to manage through shocks, and I don't think investors give them enough credit. That happened with COVID, companies survived. Companies survived a bullwhip effect on the economy. They survived a surge in inflation. They survived the Fed hiking at the fastest rate ever. So I think this tariff shock, while it is shocking, I think earnings will probably outperform expectations. I mean, that'd be one thing. And then I think the things that were leading us down, whether it's Tesla or the Mag 7 or Bitcoin, they've begun to recover. In fact, as you know, Bitcoin's above its April 2nd level. So Bitcoin, I think, is telling us the S&P should recover towards the 5,800 level in the near term, and that's still upside from here.
So basically what Tom is getting at is this. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 going all the way back to 1996 to see all the horrible things that we've been through, to think about how the typical investor was thinking in the bottom of those drops, thinking that the market's never going to recover back to all-time highs, but it did every single time. So 2000, you know what happened in the late 90s and early 2000s? We had the dot-com crash, and the S&P, look at how much it went down right here, roughly 41%. Think about the sentiment in the market when the S&P is down 41% and the NASDAQ is down even more than that. People are thinking, how are we ever going to recover from this? How are we ever going to make this money back? But guess what? The market went back to all-time highs. And think about the great financial crisis in 2008. The stock market went down roughly from peak to trough, 55% for the S&P 500, absolutely massive of a drop right here. And everybody was thinking, like, how is the market ever going to recover? How are we ever going to make this money back? And if you would have just been patient, let's drag this all the way out till it's about even, going all the way to the right, it would have taken you until roughly April 5th of 2013 to get even on your money. I get it that that's roughly 6 years, but it's going to be a little bit faster because you get dividends reinvested, so it'd be about 5 years. But if you had invested in the S&P 500 at the worst possible time, right before the great financial crisis, and you just forgot about it for 5 years, you would have survived one of the worst times in history in the stock market, and you wouldn't have even known that it happened. That is the key, is to understand that America works. America will rebound, but there is going to be volatility along the way. Remember COVID? It's like you don't even see this on the chart right here anymore. The market went down very rapidly, roughly 23%. In just a couple weeks, the market went straight down. And then guess what happened? The market went straight up. And think about the sentiment on the bottom of this drop right here for COVID. And I live in Vegas, so just imagine what it looked like when I would go down the strip in the middle of COVID. There was no one on the strip. There was no casinos open. There was nothing. It was a complete ghost town. The only people that were down there was people that were recording YouTube videos for how bad it really looked down there. And I did still have my day job back here. I worked in a medical field, so I did see the patients that were coming in with COVID and when they were going out and just seeing how the trends were going. So I knew confidently that we were going to get past this, but most people didn't. Most people were just reading the news headlines and they were just freaking out. So I did make a lot of money off this dip right here. And then after COVID happened, the market pretty much went straight up over 80% since COVID, and everybody was totally piling money into the market because interest rates were very low and the Fed was printing money like crazy. But all good things have to come to an end, right? So as inflation was getting out of control, the Fed had to raise interest rates, and when you raise interest rates, the stock market's probably going to go down. So the S&P went down over 22%, and the NASDAQ went down roughly 35%, because everybody's freaking out right here saying we have runaway inflation, we're going to have stagflation, we're never going to get out of this, and the Fed is never going to get their foot off the gas of keeping interest rates higher for longer. But guess what? Inflation fell, the market ripped, and now we're dealing with this tariff stuff that's happening up here. We're going to get through it. We're going to get trade deals. We're going to get reciprocal reduction of tariffs. The market's going to be fine. America's going to be fine. You just have to be patient right now. You have to know that there's volatility in the market, and you just have to capitalize on it. Use stocks and options the right way. Don't get emotional with it. Have high probability of success setups. When you find the setup, make a trade on it and be patient.
Some of your good calls or accurate calls, Tom, have been based on inflation. And it's a real sort of a push and pull between what we're worried about with tariffs, which would theoretically, restart inflation, even if I don't know if restart's the right word. Maybe there is some still left in the pipeline. But oil, I just always think that the most important factor in inflation, which ripples through everything, is oil. And you look at oil, and I think that could counteract a lot of what we see from, maybe even not only offset the tariff inflation, but actually be more important.
Well, I agree with you, Joe. I mean, the two leading indicators for inflation should be, like you said, commodities, and oil is telling us inflation is weaker. And the labor market, the JOLTS data shows the job market's not that strong, so there's not really a wage pushing inflation. And I think the inflation data recently shows inflation is tracking lower than expected. The Fed has been on hold, and they're saying they're waiting for tariffs. But what's interesting is the ECB has been cutting rates, even though there's tariffs, inflation hitting Europe, or soon to hit Europe. The reason is ECB's inflation measure, the HICP, excludes shelter. If the Fed excluded shelter from its core inflation calculation, it's lower than Europe now, and yet Fed funds is over 225 basis points tighter than Europe. So I can actually sympathize with the argument the Fed should be cutting now, even if we don't know the effects of the tariffs.
So yeah, inflation is totally falling like a rock. So the Fed's target is 2%. We're down here at 2.4% right now. We're very, very close to target. And the reason why inflation matters so much is because it dictates what the Federal Reserve is going to do with their interest rate policy. So if inflation continues to fall, the Fed's going to feel more comfortable to lower interest rates, because when you lower interest rates, that could bring back inflation and make inflation worse. So the Fed is being very, very careful to cut interest rates, because when they cut, like I said, it might bring inflation back. But also, historically, the Fed is usually always late to the show. Just look at what happened after COVID. Inflation went all the way up to 9%, but when we saw inflation coming right here, it was kind of like it was too late. So as the economy is starting to weaken right now, which it truly is, and Tom Lee just said it is too, so he agrees with me, we might be too late to the show. We might need to start cutting right now, but we're actually just waiting, and we're just sitting on our hands, which is kind of like shooting ourselves in the foot. So we should cut right now, in my opinion. If I was Jerome Powell, I would totally cut interest rates, because going forward, I do expect inflation to continue to fall. Mark my words, the tariff deals are going to get worked out, or we're just going to get reciprocal reduction of tariffs. When we do, all that tariff inflation that's priced in is going to be priced out, and inflation is going to continue to fall. But if I happen to be wrong and this trade war does drag out, inflation is very likely to tick higher, because we're going to have all these tariffs. When tariffs happen, cost of goods go up, and when cost of goods go up, that is inflationary. So the Fed's going to want to keep interest rates higher for longer to combat that, but they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot with this stagflation thing, because if inflation goes up but the economy goes down, that is exactly what stagflation is. And honestly, stagflation is very, very rare, but it can happen. And when it does happen, it's just horrible, because it's like, what do you do? Like, if we're in this period right here, imagine if inflation is going straight up but the economy is going straight down. You want to raise interest rates to try to bring this inflation down, but if you raise interest rates, the economy that's going down the tubes is going to even go more down the tubes. So it's kind of like you help yourself in one thing and then you screw yourself on something else. So on a good side of this, Jerome Powell did talk about at his latest meeting that the most likely scenario is that we're going to have the economy going down the tubes and inflation's not really going to be too bad. So when that happens, they're going to cut interest rates to support the economy at the cost of letting inflation run a little bit hot. And when he starts to actually signal that in the markets are going to price that in, and the market's probably going to go straight up. And if you look at what happened right after COVID, when the Fed said they're going to cut rates to zero and they're going to print money, you could go look at the chart and see what the market did. I'll give you a little spoiler alert here. It went straight up. So overall, I think the volatility we're having right now is just opportunity. Buy stocks with a high margin of safety. Use stock options with a high margin of safety. I love buying calls. I love selling puts when things are cheap. And when the market gets a little bit expensive, I like to sell calls and I like to buy puts, especially stocks like Palantir. You guys know, if you follow me on Twitter or if you're in my course members Discord, Palantir is out of control. It's totally overvalued right now. I don't care what anybody says. I've done extreme research on Palantir. It's lofty. Now, don't forget, I'm doing a brand new thing with my options course and my Discord. You get both the course and the Discord for $29 per month. It's going to completely blow your mind. You can see 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot, tons of 5-star reviews right here, all this stuff you're going to learn right here. This is me before the system, trying to figure out what is actually going to work to scale the portfolio, and then 10 years of development. I'm going to give you guys all this stuff for $29 a month. And then after the system, I'm now financially free. This could be you too. If you're interested in that, click the link below. It's going to totally blow your mind. I'll see you guys there.